Today, let's jump right into a really powerful story from Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things. It's this incredible look at how one single bitter disappointment can just completely poison a person's life and create a kind of cruelty that echoes for generations. This question is really the heart of it all. We're going to get into the life of a man named Papaji, whose biggest failure didn't just follow him around. No, it became this living, breathing torment for everyone he was supposed to love. So, our story really kicks off in Yemen. Papaji has just retired from this very prestigious government job, and for him, this isn't some peaceful new beginning, it's a total humiliation. But for his wife, Mamachi, well, it's the start of a whole new chapter she never saw coming. And the contrast between them is just wow. While Papachi's sitting around feeling old and totally irrelevant, Mamachi starts this little pickle-making business, and it just takes off. All of a sudden, the whole power dynamic in their home starts to flip, big time. You know, it all boils down to Papachi's pride. He just couldn't stand that his wife was succeeding at something he saw as beneath him. So instead of being proud, he was just deeply, deeply resentful of all this new attention she was getting. Oh, you can just picture it, can't you? Him, dressed perfectly in his tailored suits, but inside he's just filled with this silent, simmering rage. He's walking through piles of chilies and turmeric like a miserable ghost at his own wife's party. And all that jealousy he's feeling, well, it doesn't stay inside for very long. Pretty soon, it starts to spill out in the form of routine physical violence. And this wasn't just a one-time thing, not a single bad day. It was a horrific pattern. The nightly beatings with the brass vase became this grim ritual. And this thing with her violin, it wasn't new either. Years before, he'd already made her stop her lessons, just because her teacher had the nerve to praise her talent. This detail is just chilling. It tells you everything. Mamasachi's success didn't start the abuse. No, it just threw gasoline on the fire, making it happen more and more often. You can only imagine it got more vicious too. But then, something changes. A line is finally drawn. Not by Mamachi, but by their son. He comes home from university, and he sees what's happening with his own eyes. It's such a powerful scene. Checo, who's now this big, strong man, physically overpowers his own father. He grabs the hand holding that brass vase and twists it behind Papachi's back, and just like that, the violence stops. And with that one sentence, the entire family dynamic is just shattered and rebuilt in an instant. It is an absolute final warning. The physical abuse will stop, period. Papachi's reaction says it all, doesn't it? He takes all that helpless anger and just destroys his favorite rocking chair, smashing it to pieces. And yeah, he keeps his promise, he never touches Mamachi again. But he replaces that violence with this cold, suffocating silence that lasts until the day he dies. So you have to wonder, where did all this bitterness come from? It wasn't just about retiring. We have to go back, way back in time, to the biggest failure of Papachi's career to find the real ghost in this story. See, before he retired, Papachi was an imperial entomologist. That title, it meant everything to him. It was about status, respect, building a legacy. And it's that very legacy that becomes the source of his deepest wound. And there it is. The origin of everything. Every single bit of his cruelty, his jealousy, his rage, it all traces back to this one thing, a moth. I mean, just look at how this all played out. He finds what he thinks is a brand new species. He's so excited, probably dreaming of fame, right? But then he's told, nope, you're wrong. Then, 12 years later, long after he's retired, it turns out he was right all along, but it's too late. The moth is named after some junior officer he couldn't stand. He got the validation, but the credit, the immortality, that was stolen from him. So now that physical violence is off the table, Papachi's bitterness doesn't just disappear. Oh no, it just changes shape, finding new, quieter ways to make his family miserable. It's like his anger didn't go away, it just curdled. It went from these explosive, violent moments to a kind of slow-acting poison. He basically dedicated the rest of his life to a campaign of passive aggression. And the things he did, they were so petty, but so incredibly cruel. He'd sew his own buttons on his shirt in front of guests just to make his wife look bad.
He wouldn't speak to her directly. And then there was the car. And this car perfectly captures his new strategy. He buys this beautiful sky blue Plymouth, a total symbol of status and freedom. And then he makes a rule. No one in the family can ever sit in it. It just becomes this monument to his spite, parked right there in their driveway every single day. Right up until his death, Papaji was basically living as a character in his own memory. He wore a three-piece woolen suit every day, sweating in that insane Ayamenim heat, just physically trapping himself in the image of the important man he used to be, the man who discovered a moth. And get this, at his funeral, his wife Mamachi cried. But their daughter, Amu, she noticed that her mother was crying more from habit than from any real love. She was just used to him being there, used to the beatings, used to the silence. It's such a tragic summary of a life spent just getting used to cruelty.
And so Papachi's moth, that gray, furry ghost of a missed opportunity, it never left. It became a twisted family heirloom, a curse passed down through the family. The bitterness of one man, born from one failure, became a burden for generations. This story really leaves you with a heavy question, doesn't it? Papachi's ghost had a name. It was a moth. But his story kind of forces you to ask, what are the unnamed moths in our own lives, and how do we stop them from haunting the people we love?